Hi guys, this is Pratisha, and with this IELTS academic course today, we are going to dive into the basics of English vocabulary, some essential phrases for everyday conversations, and probably be able to build a solid foundation for our English proficiency. So, it does not matter if you're preparing for IELTS or just starting your English language journey, this course is designed to set you on the right path. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to learn about the basic concepts of English, which I would say is essentially our building block of being better in the language that we aim to communicate in. So beginning with the course, we are going to take up some essential and basic grammar concepts. So when we are making any sort of a sentence, what are a few requirements? We require some vocabulary, right? And those vocabulary words are essentially divided into different parts. So one of those parts is nouns. Now you will ask, what are nouns? Nouns are basically, I would say, a group of words that could refer to any people. So people could be teacher, student, doctor, brother, mother, father, people in general, girl, boy, etc. Then it is categorized into the second point, which is places. So any places that you see all around you are nouns. So schools, park, city, country, library, bedroom, anything that talks about a place is your noun. Then you have things. So all the things that you see around you are nouns. It could be a broom, it could be a table, a chair, a bottle of water, your mouse that you're working with, a pen, computer, laptop. All of these things are now. All of these things are a part of noun. Then you also have something which is not that heard of, but your ideas. So ideas are also nouns, right? Now, ideas can refer to any kind of idea that you have in your mind, including any kind of emotions. So any emotions, for example, happiness, sadness, freedom, anger, knowledge, all of these things are your ideas, right? So these are also nouns. Now, what we will do is, now that you have a general sense of what a noun is, we will dive deep into the categories of noun. So, in fact, there are different categories of nouns too. It can be classified into different aspects. So, there are one, two, three, four. Four different kinds of nouns. Now, why is it important to categorize nouns into different parts? Because now, see, what you need to do is you need to understand the basics of what words are you dealing with. And the more that you will know about these grammar concepts, the better you will be able to form your sentences. And that is the whole reason why we need to go deep into the nouns as well. So, our first noun is common noun. Now, from the name itself, common basically means um, anything which is commonly seen to you, something that does not have a name associated with it, it's a common noun. Any general items, right? So, look around you. What are the general items that you can see? A pen, it's a general item. A bottle is a general item. A cup is a general item. um, Anything, right? All those are general items. Then you have proper nouns. Now, proper needs to be proper. If this is a pen, but for example, if it is a Parker pen, Parker pen in general is a proper noun, right? So it is a proper thing because it has a name, it is particular. When I said bottle, if I say Milton bottle, that Milton is a proper noun because we are referring to a specific kind of a thing. We are not referring to a general bottle. We are not referring to a general pen. We are referring to something that is specific. So even if I say city, and when I say London, that becomes proper, right? If I say girl, that is our common noun. But if I say Emily, because it has a name, there's a particular Emily I'm talking about, it becomes proper. Then you have abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are basically something which are abstract basically means something that you cannot touch. So they are intangible. Intangible means things you cannot touch, right? Essentially, your feelings. There is another word which is tangible. All the other nouns are tangible. Common noun and proper noun are tangible nouns. Then there is abstract nouns, which are intangible noun. These refers to your feelings, right? So feeling can be any sort of feeling: love, hate, anger, justice, any emotion, right? Is your abstract noun. Then you have collective noun. Again, from the name itself, it is very clear that it is referring to a collection of things, right? Now, under this collection, you can have proper things or you can have common things. That totally depends. Now, when I say a group of actors, it's a group. Under it can fall, for example, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Ryan Gosling, um, Johnny Depp, anyone, right? Any kind of actors, any kind of famous personality that you can probably think of, right? So these are the names that I could think of on top of my head, but you can add in. Then it could be bunch, right? For example, a bunch of flowers. Now it's common, like any kind of flower. I just said a bunch of flowers. Now this bunch had very common and general flowers, could be any kind of flowers. But if I say a bunch of roses, that is a proper, right? Those inside the bunch, there are proper nouns, right? So that's how you can sort of segregate the difference. So essentially, we have uh, all the objects around us are nouns mostly. We have 4 categories of nouns too: common noun, which are general objects; proper noun, which are specific items, which has names. When common nouns have name, they become proper noun basically. We have abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are intangible, means that we cannot touch it, can't be touched, right? Only felt. And then we have collective nouns. So any kind of group, for example, a herd of sheep, herd of cattle, uh, all these things are basically your collective noun. The second part of a sentence, which is really important, is verbs. Verbs basically is just a synonym for action, right? So if you want to talk about any kind of action, you would say that these are verbs. Right now, right on the top of your head, what action you are doing right now? You are watching this video, right? So for example, I say I am watching, uh, sorry for my handwriting, but I hope you understand. I am watching this video, right? Now video, if you got it, it's a noun and it's a common noun. But if I say YouTube video, it sort of becomes a proper noun, right? Because I'm talking about a particular video. So I am watching. This is the action that I'm doing, right? The action of watching, that becomes your verb. So actions could be run, speak, read. Similarly, I am reading a book, I'm speaking in French, I am running 12 kilometers today, right? Which would be great, by the way. That is your one essential part of action. You have this second thing, which is state of being, state of existing, right? That is the second part, or even you can say a second category of verb. So when we do English, like when we study English in school, we are usually introduced to this as be verb. Under be verbs, we have is, am, are, was, were, etc. Right? Because it shows that you are. She is a teacher. Now, when I write, she is a teacher, right? There are a few things that has to be there in a sentence, which is a noun and a verb, right? A verb and a noun needs to be there in the sentence, right? So here, if we would have said, now this is a pronoun, it's a completely different concept. Let me take a name, which is like Tina. Tina, if you remember from our previous slide, Tina is a proper noun. I would just write PN. Teacher is a common noun. I would write CN for it. And then we have is. which is a verb. And it is what sort of verb? It is a be verb because it's talking about the state of being. How is Tina existing? She is a teacher, right? It is her profession. Every sentence will always have a verb and a noun. That is mandatory. Without it, you cannot construct any sentence. Now, verbs can also be different processes. So, the process of learning, growing, any kind of change that you see around you, all these are also verbs because you are changing, right? You are evolving. So, change, evolution, evolving, all of these things are different sort of processes that you go through and which changes your state of being from one part to the other part. You were a kid, you grew up, so you moved, right? And that move, that action is your verb. Now, inside verbs also, there are three different kinds. Let's put it this way. We have transitive verbs, we have intransitive verbs, then we have auxiliary verbs, right? So we'll do it one by one. Transitive verbs basically means any kind of verb that is directly connected with the object. It becomes transitive. So for example, directly connected means I'll tell you what that is. For example, I would say I eat pizza, right? Now, let us take a name, in fact. Let us take a name, Tina. Let's stick to Tina. Tina is a proper noun. Eating is our what? It is our verb. And pizza again is our what? It's a common noun, right? Could be any pizza. We don't know. I have not said Pizza Hut's pizza or Domino's pizza, right? I have just said pizza. So Tina eats pizza. Now, if we see a sentence, usually a sentence has a subject, it has a verb, and it has an object. Subject is something that we are talking about. Who are we talking about in this sentence? Am I talking about pizza? No. I am talking about Tina, right? Tina is our subject here. It's a matter, subject matter here. Then she is doing some kind of action. That becomes our verb. Then what is that action happening on, right? Because if she's doing something, she must be doing something with something, right? So that action, that with doing something becomes our object. Who is this action happening on? This action is not happening on Tina. Tina is not eating Tina. She is eating pizza. So this action of eating is happening on who? Tina or pizza? On pizza. Now, subject and object are both nouns. Most of the time, both of them are nouns. So one noun, and then that noun is doing an action, and that action is happening on another noun or an object. Right? I hope you understand this. Now, when I say Tina is doing an action on something, they are directly connected. Means, do you see anything here in between them? No. They are directly connected to each other, and that's all. It's pretty simple. It's transitive. Then you have the opposite of transitive, which is intransitive. Now, intransitive basically means when the object is not directly connected to the verb. So, for example, I go to the school. Actually, again, should have taken Tina. So, Tina goes to the school. Now, here, Tina is a noun, and it is also what? It is also my subject because I'm talking about her. And what kind of noun it is? It is a proper noun. Then she goes to the school. Goes is the action because she is going, she is moving, right? So Tina goes. And then we have some like two words here, right? To and the. So the can be a part of the object here. So this is our object because where is this action of going happening? It's happening in the school. It's our object and it is also a noun. And what kind of noun it is? It is a common noun. The school, right? So Tina goes to the school. But what is this to here? It's not a verb. It's not a noun. It's not an article either, which can be just connected with the object. It cannot be that, right? So to is a preposition. Now, in this case, if the verb is not connected with the object directly, it is called an intransitive verb because it is connected to the object through a preposition or through any other word, right? So Tina goes the school, it cannot happen, right? Tina goes the school is incorrect. We need a preposition with it. So Tina goes to the school, right? I hope transitive and intransitive is clear. Finally, we have auxiliary verb. Now, just understand it in this way. The meaning of auxiliary literally means help. Auxiliary verbs mean helping verbs, right? So they are verbs, but they are not the main verbs, right? They are just helping. They are helping the main verbs. For example, Tina is singing a song. Now we'll see. First of all, what kind of sentence structure is it? Tina is our subject, right? Singing is a verb. A song is our object because the action of singing is happening on the song, right? The song is being sung by who? By Tina. So subject is doing an action on the object. Now this subject is a proper noun. Song is our common noun. Could be any song, we don't know. And this is our verb. But now what is this? If you remember, we did talk about be verbs. Be verbs are also called helping verbs, right? So Tina is singing. It is a verb, but it is not a main verb. Main verb here is singing, right? So that is the difference between a main verb and a auxiliary verb. Auxiliary would always be there on the side and it will always be there to help. Then we have adjectives. Now, majorly, if you know what are nouns, what are different kinds of nouns, what are verbs, what are different kinds of verb, you would probably be able to make a sentence, a basic normal sentence, right? So adjectives are something that you would use to make probably a little bit more, I can say, complicated sentence or a sentence that is a little bit more explanatory, right? So it means that it gives more information. Now, adjectives, what do they give information about? Adjectives will always give more information about a noun. What kind of noun is it? It can also talk about the quantity of noun, right? So adjectives mainly talk about two things: quality. Quality means kind, what kind of noun it is, and quantity, right? So for example, describing size. So an adjective can describe a size, a ball, a small ball, a large ball, right? So that is describing, telling more about the size of the object, a size of the noun. Describing color, red, blue, a red ball, a blue ball, right? It's describing more about the color. Then you have describing qualities. So we can talk about any qualities. For example, sun. So now it is a sun, but when I say a large, bright, and probably yellow sun, right? Let me write it here. Let's remove this. A large, bright, and yellow sun. It's talking about its size, its quality, that it has the quality of shining, of brightness, and the color, right? Of what? Of this noun. It's a, you can say probably it's a common noun, sun, right? Then, so basically adjectives, they are going to add details. So when you want to express more, adjectives really help you to express more, right? It will add details to your sentence so that your sentences are more accurate. They are describing more. For your IELTS, you will have to go beyond simple sentence structures. So it's not just your nouns and verbs. It has to go beyond it. You have to add some adjectives to it so that you are able to express yourself more, right? So adjectives basically do the task of expressing yourself more. They help to clarify what kind of noun is being referring to, right? So for example, if I say cat, it could be any cat, right? I have 100 cats at my home, but and all of them, for example, let's imagine, don't have a name, right? So all of them are not proper. They are common cats. But when I say the fat, um, fluffy, yellow cat is mine, right? The fat, fluffy yellow cat is mine. I am describing more about that cat. I am describing more about that common noun, right? By adding adjectives to it. Then adjectives, as I told you, it will provide more information about a noun. So it will give you more information. It can talk about quantity also, right? So for example, few clothes. I can also say one book. That is also, a quantity. How many books? One book. Quality could be quality, like what kind. It's a good kind of a book. It's a bad kind of a book. It can talk about any size, big, small, short, even thin, it's all size. Shape, square, round, rectangle, um, any kind of shapes that exist in the world, the star shape, anything. All those are adjectives. And then you have colors. So any kind of colors, it's an adjective, right? So for example, let's take an example. The few dirty clothes are um, washed in the small, round, and blue washing machine. Let me write WM for washing machine, for small, but it's washing machine, right? So now the few talks about the quantity. Dirty, what kind of clothes it is? It's dirty clothes, right? So dirty talks about the quality. Clothes are nouns, right? Are, if you remember, it's a helping verb. It's a be verb. Is, am, are, was, were. It's a be verb. Washed is our main verb. In is our preposition. The small is, again, it shows what? It shows the size. Round shows what? It shows shape. Blue is color. Washing machine is your noun again, right? So the few dirty clothes are washed in the small, round, and blue washing machine. It is giving very specific information. I could have just said the clothes are washed in the washing machine, for example. Now, if I have to see the the structure of the sentence, it would be the clothes, which is our subject, because we are talking about clothes in the sentence. Are is a transitive verb. It's a be verb. So I can just write TV. Washed is our main verb. So I will write VM, washed, main verb, in the washing machine. Now, in is our preposition. Let me write PR for it. And washing machine is our object, right? So because it's being talked about. But the clothes and washing machine both are nouns. And both are common nouns, right? Because we are talking about random clothes, random washing machine. It's not proper. If I would have said in the whirlpool washing machine, then it would have been a proper noun, right? But now, if you look at this sentence, it is a very ordinary kind of a sentence. But when I add adjectives to it, the few dirty clothes are being washed in the small washing machine, in the round washing machine, in the blue washing machine, or all of the adjectives together. So it brings more qualities, it brings more structure to your, I would say, to your sentences. About that, it is all clear. Then we have some common phrases for everyday conversation, right? There are some common greetings that we use. Greetings can be hello, how are you? I'm good, thank you. So you can, for example, say hello, how are you? Because that's the first thing when we meet someone, we ask them. So, hello, how are you? You can reply with, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm bad. Or you can talk about your feelings. I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm great. You can also add great, I'm great, right? And then you can ask them, and you, right? These are your greetings. Now, greetings can also be your salutations. So, good morning, good evening, good night, thank you are welcome. All these things are also your greetings. You can also ask for help in general life, because that is something that is very common. If you're giving IELTS, I'm thinking you are thinking about going abroad, you would need a lot of help, right, from people around you. So you will have to ask for help. You will have to say, can you help me? Can you help me to find the metro? Can you help me to find the bus? Can you help me find this book? Can you help me find anything, basically, right? Or do anything. Then when you have asked for help, you definitely need to, say thank you to that person. That is called expressing gratitude. Gratitude means like a state of being thankful, right? So when you feel thankful because somebody has helped you, that's gratitude. So you can say thank you, I appreciate it, in a more informal way with your friends. And when you know that person really well, you can just say thanks. That is also fine. But rather, I would suggest you use thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it, right? Then you have polite request. When you are talking and when you want to be more polite with someone, you use phrases like could and would instead of can and will. So you don't use this can or will, because it seems a little bit more direct, right? It seems um not that it's polite. It's not that it's not polite. It's just that it's too direct, right? If I know you, I would say, will you help me? Or if I just say, would you please help me? That seems like more polite conversation. And people really appreciate when you are more polite with them. So you can always say, like when you're asking, when you're requesting something, could you please help me find the nearest metro station? Would you mind if I can borrow your pen? Right? So for these kind of phrases, you would you would have to make some polite requests. Then I would suggest that, learning these common phrases are really essential for having very basic conversation in life. And that would really enhance your everyday situations. Now, what we'll do is we will have these practice exercises and we will go through them together. What we have to do is we have to find nouns, verbs, and adjectives in the following sentences, right? So our first sentence is, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now, first of all, what are things here, right? Let us first focus on nouns. The quick, I don't think so. Brown is not it's not an object. Fox seems like an object. So our noun is fox. What kind of noun it is? Common noun. Jumps over the lazy dog. Jumps over the lazy, no, but dog seems like an object. So dog is our common noun. Now, what is describing these objects? Are there any words that are telling more about these objects? Yes. What are they? Quick. How is the fox? It's a quick fox. How else is it? It's a brown fox. So both of them are adjectives. How is the dog? It's a lazy dog. So lazy becomes your adjective. But what is this quick brown fox doing? It's jumping. This is your verb because it's an action, right? It's an action. Second sentence, Emily reads a book in the quiet library, right? So, who are we talking about? We are talking about Emily, which is our proper noun. She reads a book, which is again an object, right? So, it's a noun, it's a common noun. In the quiet library. Now, library is a place, if you remember. It is our common noun again. What is Emily doing? She is reading, which is an action, becomes our verb. And is there any word that tells more about Emily? No. Is there any word that tells more about book? No. Is there any word that tells more about library? Yeah, quiet. What kind of library it is? It's a quiet library. So I can say it's an adjective that describes more about library. Create your own sentences using new vocabulary. So these vocabulary that you have learned, you can just create more sentences on it. Okay, I really thought that this is an example for a minute, right? But no, creating your own sentences using nouns, verbs, adjectives is essentially important, right? So you need to use all of these things together to form more, I would say, to form better sentences, right? If you want to be better and effective in your communication, you need to use all these aspects and combine it together to form better sentences, right? Try to identify, whenever you see a sentence, try to identify, what are the nouns in these sentences, what are the verbs in these sentences, what are the adjectives in these sentences, right? Try to find these basic things, because these are the very basic and building blocks of any sentence. And we will also see how we can further enhance our sentences so that it is better for our communication, right? So basically, what we learned today was about nouns, different kinds of nouns. We have common, proper, abstract, collective, these nouns. We also looked at the verbs, what kind of verbs we have. We have transitive, intransitive, helping verbs, which are also auxiliary verbs, right? So we have these verbs. Then what we looked at is the adjectives. So what kind of adjectives are there? We have our adjectives that describes the quality, quantity, or the number. Then size, shape, color, anything which gives more information about the noun is our adjectives, right? So I would suggest that you go ahead and do a little bit of homework and do a little bit of research about what these different parts of speech is and are, and try to create some example sentences on your own so that it would enhance your own communication skills. And that's it for today. I will see you in the next session.